Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. We have been trying to do this stream for probably a week now. It had to reschedule for a couple of real work things, and then everything else just kept popping up. But we are finally back in X-Plane 12, going to fly the Toliss A320 NEO pre-release. This is the latest release candidate version, I believe. Things are still subject to change, obviously, till the aircraft is released. However, this is a newer update, couple little tweaks and fixes that Toliss has made for the release of this aircraft. But today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We did this when the Phoenix first released on Microsoft, and then we've done it a couple other times. We did it when the 321 came out, when the 319 came out. We're going to try to break this airplane today. Basically, what we're going to do, we're going to go up, we're going to do some failures, and we're going to just see how deeply simulated this airplane is. So we have a regular flight scheduled. We're sitting in Las Vegas, Nevada right now. We're going to plan to go to Burbank, California. So it's a short flight. However, we are not going to get to our destination. Spoiler alert, I know. But anyway, I hope you guys are ready to see this one go on here. I haven't got my jet bridge. I don't have my all my my fancy smanchy stuff to make the sim look like a true graphical sim. This sim, to me, I've talked about it before, is for studying, for going through ECAMs, for scenario-based training. I really enjoy it for that, and I really enjoy the 320 NEO in that place as well. So, good to see everybody here. Thomas Garcia, N2, Gavin Cornell, Kyle Lewis, Kango, 26, Chris Stuper, good to see you, man. Lumen Officer, good to see you. Lauren V2500, welcome to the stream. No test stream out of Mobile today. Lauren, I was going to do that, and then I loaded into Mobile, Alabama, and X-Plane 12, and it was very, very unpleasant. So to save everybody the unpleasantries of the graphical environment of Mobile, Alabama on default X-Plane 12, we're out of here in Lost Wages, Nevada. Niels Christensen, good to see you, my friend. Tiger Dude, always a pleasure. Scott is in the chat. Q8, stop by. Thank you, sir. Good to see you as well. Mr. Martini, Bosach, and Scott. I think I already said Scott. Awesome. So welcome to the stream, guys. Glad to be here live with you. We are wrapping up a week of live streaming that is probably going to, I don't know when the next stream is going to be after this, so we got to enjoy this. I'm actually going to be doing some packing of the V1 HQ after this stream concludes. But until then, without further ado, let's get into this airplane and fire it up. Good to see you. Sim is reflecting the reality there. It's just reflecting the reality there. Yeah, but right here, Vegas, this is all default scenery. I mean, honestly, for default, I mean, who flies default, right? But if you're going to use a sim for just like training purposes, it's really not a bad spot to be in, honestly, because the way the Toliss allows you to save and spot train and all that is absolutely fantastic. And the default airport layouts are a million times better than what default Microsoft airports are. So either way, let's do this thing. No Memphis with safe travels. Thomas Garcia, we'll see, man. I don't know. I got to see how much I can pack up here. I might do something late tonight. I do not know, but we'll find out. I'm going to be driving 15 hours at, I think I'm going to leave around 1 a.m. tomorrow, 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. But anyway, let's do this thing here. Let's hop into the cockpit. It is cold and dark. I'm actually going to bring the sunrise down a little bit more, just so we can kind of enjoy the whole sunrise. Oh, wow, it's really dark. Let's get the batteries on. There we go. Oh, my sim sounds are muted. Rip. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Uh-oh. 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 There we go. Okay, I thought I crashed everything. That would have been sad. All right, here we go. We're loading in. We're coming back at it. Good to see you. It was at default Philly. Oh, you were at default Philly in Microsoft, and it was garbage. Yeah, default Philly. Default anything in Microsoft, honestly, is pretty terrible. It's astonishingly bad. It's astonishingly bad in Microsoft on the default airports. I don't know why they did that. I mean, I have my assumptions why they did that, but either way. Here we are in X-Plane 12. I got my water ready because I'm going to be doing a lot of chatting today. So kind of a breakdown of what we're going to do is we're going to do a ground air start. Then I think I'm actually going to do a crossbleed start, which I cannot remember the last time I did a crossbleed start in a NEO, so I'm going to have to refresh my procedures on that. We're simulating the APU is in op today. So I've kind of got something cool that I like, and I think I'm going to adopt for the rest of, or until further notice. And I'm going to try to figure out how I can add this into like my corporate pilot benefits. But I'm going to, for each stream, maybe not every stream, but we're going to have a scenario where maybe commercial pilots can bid to select an MEL item for a flight, and then I will post the MEL, or the maintenance log will be a pinned message. So the pinned message today, MEL or minimum equipment list items, basically when you get to the airplane, if you see if anything's broken, we got to consult the MEL, or the minimum equipment list, and we have to see what procedures are applied to those items that are broken, whether it's a coffee pot, an APU, a bleed system. It can be a number of things, couple hundred, actually I think it's over 1,000 pages of items that we can actually have deferred and broken and still operate the aircraft. So that's what the MEL is. And anytime you get in an airplane, that's the first thing you do. You check the tail number, make sure you're on the right aircraft, because if you board up the wrong airplane, the wrong tail number, you get in trouble. Ask me how I know, courtesy of Louisville ramp crew who towed the wrong airplane to the gate, and I didn't check it, but we caught it on a checklist. Anyway, that was a long time ago. You check the tail number, and then you check the minimum equipment list to make sure whatever is broken is properly marked off by maintenance. So the APU is inoperative for today, and the hydraulic green, and I didn't even mean to do this, but it's St. Paddy's Day. In lieu of St. Paddy's Day, the hydraulic green system has just been reserviced, and in the book there is a history of hydraulic green low level, but there are no leaks noted, quote unquote, in the maintenance can. So this is based off a real flight, not one that I did personally, but it's been noted that the green system's been acting up and the APU is in op on this aircraft. So that's pretty much all we have to deal with. And let's go ahead and continue with our normal setup as we would on any other flight here. So we'll come up, we'll get the crew supply oxygen on, we'll get our ground control on, we'll do our CVR test. And we'll go ahead and do our ADIRS alignment. We'll get the strobe into auto. I put on the new landing lights today, guys. These ones, I actually really don't like them, just because I like three position switches, and I think I don't know, I love having the little landing lights pop out. But this is how the new Airbus landing light system is, and I don't know if it's necessarily an option or if it's going to be standard equipment. But basically, instead of having the extendable landing lights, there is either an option, or it may become standard, where it's just belly fairing lights that are LEDs, and they light up inside the fairing and they don't extend at all. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to subconsciously tell my FO that he's getting high and fast by popping the landing lights into the extend position once we start getting these. But they are fixed, Crow. They are absolutely fixed. And I'll show you guys on the exterior. We'll put nav into position 1. Seatbelts can stay off. No smoking auto. Arm the emergency exit lights. Cabin pressure is in auto. Pack flow is in low right now. That's fine. Everything else looks good. Fire test. Number 2. And we're not even going to test the APU because it is inoperative. So APU is in op. Everything else looks good on the overhead. Since we just got serviced on the hydraulics, make sure we check it. Oh, look, our green hydraulic system is almost slightly over-serviced, but it is still within limits there. But we look good on hydraulics. Look at our engine page, make sure we have proper oil quantity. And then we go to the pressurization, make sure we are in auto. This is just, I think this might just be an atmospheric thing from X-Plane, but that all looks good there. And then what we also do, whoops, hold on now, easy tiger. We always do a status and recall check, just make sure there's normal. I seem to skip that all the time on streams. But if there were any faults or failures on the previous flight that have been cleared, and you can recall them, and that would pop up there so you could see what was written up. But everything else looks good. Let's come over here to the initialization page. Let's do an init request. We're going to data link our flight plan to Burbank. Dispatch 320, good to see you again. Welcome on board. DFW spotter, good to see you, man, as well. Could be the standard. Boeing did the same thing on the 737 MAX and some NGs. Yeah, that's one thing I don't know. I'm sure Toliss, they probably know if it's a standard or not. I haven't seen, I don't think I've personally seen one yet in the U.S., but I'm sure they're coming. I've seen pictures of them, but I haven't seen one in person yet. How different is the Toliss 320 in relation to the real aircraft? It's about as close as you're going to get in a sim world, man. They do a really good rendition of it, no doubt about it. T-Sizzle, thank you for the continued support. You're excited. I'm excited for this stream as well, man. Good to have you on board. Welcome. Good to have you on board. All right, here we are, Bourbon 357, Las Vegas, Burbank. We'll go ahead and just confirm the align on ref. That's fine. Everything else is properly uplinked. As far as our flight plan is concerned, I'm just going to hammer this out here real quick. Oops, I got to bring this page over here so I can actually see what we filed. We are, one right. Let's go ahead and let's get some weather, shall we? AOC, let's do a weather. Let's do a METAR. Let's do a METAR for all of them. Our alternate airport is back to Las Vegas. So we're going to go ahead and pull a METAR from there. And then what we can also do is we got 15.4 on board to make things just a little bit faster because we're going to be doing a lot this stream. I'm just going to insta-load us here. Don't get mad at me here. We'll take 100 and, well, we got a ton of cargo. What's going on with this? Let's go ahead and nail this back here. We bring the forward cargo, aft cargo up. Interesting. I'm looking at the CG changing here. Huh. All right, cool. Normally we go forward cargo, and then we'll do maybe get an extra one in the back. We'll load it up today. Let's take a full load. Almost a full. We'll take 174 peeps. That's pretty good for... that's pretty good. 15,000. What does our sim brief say we need for fuel today? With our alternate, we need... With the NEO, we probably don't need all that. We only need 10.4 on the fuel. Love the NEOs, man. I'll take 10.8. We'll do a quick refuel, defuel. And we will also... I'm trying to move that CG a little bit. That is a little bit far aft. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Let's move that CG. That's what I like. We'll do a quick load. Done. Fuel on board, 10.8. Excellent. So we're done with that. I can hide this screen over here, sorry. Good evening from Belgium. Welcome. Not air whiskey today? No air whiskey today. Well, the McDo firmware is pretty old. You get a much closer rendition in the fly-by-wire, for example. Oh, you're talking about like the software? Yeah, so this is an older software version indeed. Am I... Can I do AOC, receive messages, and put this on flight plan? Ooh. Was I able to split that before, or is that new? I don't remember. Because I remember complaining about it. Let's go ahead and print this one here. We're 10 miles clear. What are the winds? 3014, 040 at 10? We could probably... They'd probably be launching off ones, huh? We'll blast off one right today. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll go ahead and print that. We'll continue to print these pages here. And while that's doing that, we'll go here, departure, one right. That'll give us a nice view of the strip for takeoff. One right. And we are filed on the... I'm a little bit backwards here because I don't have... we're not doing VATSIM today because you can't declare an emergency with no controllers on VATSIM. So I don't want to get anybody's panties wadded up. So we're going to do the Radiator 2 to silver transition. Plus it's better because then I don't have to worry about people talking in my ear and we can just focus on the failures at hand. Radar 2 departure, silver transition, insert that, and then into Burbank expecting, we'll just put the ILS-8 in there and the Janny 5, although you guys know, spoiler alert, that probably not going to make it all the way there. So that is set. Insert that. Done. Booyah. Okay, primary flight plan is done. Who's doing the walk around right now? Phantom 320 is out there doing the walk around, and I will show you, since you just reminded me. I'll come over here and I'll show you these lights. This is actually, it's kind of, I don't know. You guys tell me, and maybe we'll see it better. But here it is. Here are the belly fairing lights. Let me go to this side. Here are the fairing lights for the 320. Do you guys like that? Or do you prefer the extendable ones? Now, I don't know. Is it cool? Maybe, kind of. I don't know. I just think it's... I don't know. I'm old school, maybe. I think I like the extendable lights. But it's an option, and I'll show you. One thing Toliss is great at is giving you options. That's for dang sure. So, multifunctional runway light. I have it enabled to yes. If I turn it off, I bet you can see the old school ways. So if I turn it off, yeah, you can see now it's completely gone. And they're just extendable lights that are actually back here. Or I forget where they are. Yeah, I think they're back here. But if we turn them on, we're going to leave them on for this flight. You can see them right here. I don't know. You like these better, Lauren? Really? You like these better? Interesting. I'm sure they're better for actual, lighting up the runway and being legit. But I don't know. It's just kind of, I guess it's personal preference. All right, primary is done. Secondary, Let's do a nice secondary like we would in real life. So Las Vegas to Las Vegas. Now, I did have a secondary. We aren't going to do our single engine special return and all that. But if we have to come back around, we'll plan to land on the ILS 1 left, because we are doing northbound, no star, and we'll approach via Roman, which is way out there. We'll insert that on the secondary. In the secondary, we go here one more time. We go over to the second time, we go over to the approach, and let's put in the Vegas information here. 040 at 10. That's kind of a crosswind. We'll throw that in there. Speaking of crosswinds, 2 days ago, I landed in Newark, New Jersey. 41 to like 43 direct crosswind, landing on 4. Wild. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but man, it was a greaser. But the approach, second, it's either the second or tied for the strongest crosswind I've ever landed the Airbus in. I mean, direct 41 to 40. I mean, it was gusting like upwards of 45, and there is a published limitation of 38 knots. Now, that's not a limitation. That's a demonstrated crosswind. So depending on your operator, that may or may not be your hard limit. For us, 38 knots is a demonstrated crosswind, not a limitation. But I tell you what, you get to 38 knots direct crosswind or more, it is pretty challenging to get that puppy down. The aircraft in front of us went around. I'll tell you the story later. But here we go. Let's do this. Temperature is, oh no, that's Burbank, 12. 2 degrees here. And QNH is 3014. 3014. Sorry, guys. Like I said, on every stream, everyone wants to start texting me. Love your vids. Finally able to catch you live. Aiden, thank you so much, man. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're enjoying the content, my friend. Welcome on board. Let's go over here. Airports, KLAS, McCarran, and approach. We need to look at the 1 right mins. I'm sorry, ILS 1 left minimums. But it was just a gusty day in Newark. 2460. 2460, we'll throw that there. Airplanes were going around, bumpy, moderate turbulence, the entire descent coming into Newark. Just crazy. Just crazy. All right, Las Vegas Z01 right. That looks good. Perf is, we're going to hold off the init B. We've already loaded that. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and get the fuel pumps on and get this thing fired up, shall we? Double check our fuel is on board and balanced. It is. Oh, look, you see the APU change green. That's good. That's just like the real thing. You guys probably saw my shorts video, the APU valve there. All right, and let's go ahead and fire it off. Is the headwind 330 cockpit similar to 320? You don't have to learn a new plane. You have to get a new type rating. Oh, APU is an op. APU is an op. You guys are right. Oh, watch this. I'll fix that. You're absolutely right. Watch this. I've actually been wanting to do this. Oh, I also have a bleed fault in there that we're going to play with. APU fail now. Let's see what happens. Oh. No dice on the APU. All right. APU's off. You guys are SOL. All right, APU is off. Let's get our terrain on ND, get our LS. We don't need LS. Terrain is on ND. Top altitude for today's flight, I think we're filed at 260. Let me double. No, I don't think that's right. What did we file? 360. We're going to change that to 26. 260 is set. Okay, so we're going to have to go over our start procedures here at the gate. Before we do that, let's do our perf uplink. So we're uplink. I love doing this. Takeoff data request. Somebody else that makes Airbuses in the Sims, please replicate this. This is so much better, in my personal opinion, than doing the EFB way. I love this because this is exactly how we do it. So I'm going to go to receive takeoff data. Now, if I wanted to flex, I would select this, but we always do Togas here at the channel. So we're going to do this one right, 34, 34, 39. We're going to insert the uplink, and here we go. It's all in there. Flaps 1 up 0.3. Beautiful. There is no flex noted. Engine out 3020. We know that. 3500 on the normal thrust reduction and acceleration. That seems high. Is that high? What is the, sorry guys, I'm not used to the mouse sensitivity on X-Plane. I'm so used to Microsoft. I guess 3200. I thought it was 32. Let's lower that a little bit. Thrust reduction, acceleration is 3200. Boom. That is set. Roller Pilot, it is a great job by Toliss. And I specifically love the situation saving. And I think this is worth noting right now. And somebody else, I'm sorry. Maybe it was Flight Deck to Sim that I was watching briefly when he was flying this yesterday or the other day. He mentioned that this is, without a doubt, the best load, save, state airplane available. And I couldn't agree more. It doesn't matter if you're on an X-Plane or Microsoft or P3D. Maybe, I don't know about P3D. I've been at a P3D game for a while. But if you want to save state, like I have Seattle Takeoff, Burbank Takeoff, you can save state and it will insta-load right back to where you are. Everything's set up. So if you want to practice your rejected takeoffs, you want to practice V1 cuts, all of that stuff right here. And what we should do, if you guys, this is your job today, folks, is to remind me to save state prior to takeoff, because what we're going to do after we maybe come back around, we're going to do an RTO. I'm going to do it in the summertime, like 120 degrees on the Toga takeoff. We'll see how hot we can get the brakes. We'll see how the brake temp simulation is with Toliss. But we have to remember to save state before takeoff. So that's your job today in the chat. When we roll out to the runway, remind me. But absolutely fantastic. Callie Simmer dropping 10 gifted subs. Callie Simmer, you the man. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate the support. Welcome to the stream, Callie Simmer. Fantastic. You know, I thought about you yesterday, man. I was going to post that this stream was going to go live in the Discord last night, but I still wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't want to screw you up with work. Because you said that you tend to reschedule around some streams. So I purposely didn't do that because I didn't want to screw you up. But I'm glad to have you on, man. Welcome to the stream. We're going to close up all the doors except the forward cargo door. But guys, if you pick up a gifted sub from Callie Simmer, shout him out. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Is the A320 worth the money? Captain Ray, if you want a 320 NEO and X-Plane 12, I don't think you don't need to look anywhere else, my man. I honestly, this is a training aircraft for me. I use it for that. I love it. If you're fully vested in X-Plane 12 with scenery, ortho, and all that, you're not gonna regret it. I promise you that. You're not gonna regret it. But I don't always like saying, is this worth X money or is this worth money? Because everybody's financial situation is different. And, you know, what may be worth it to me could be vastly different from somebody else. So my job that I feel as a content creator is to just kind of lay the cards on the table, tell you what I like, what I don't like, try to be transparent, and then allow you guys to make the best decision possible. So anyway, okay, enough chit chat. We eventually need to get out of here, folks. I feel like, did they split this? Was this always split? Because I really like that as well. Okay, we have to do a ground air start. Let me pull out my real world charts, and I've never done this in a NEO, to be honest with you. I don't think I've done a ground air start in a NEO. So give me a second. All right, engine start with air start unit for the NEOs. What tail number are we in today? Oh, we're in an Airbus, or we're in we don't have a technical tail number. So real quick, let's go over the engine start with air start unit procedure in the NEO. Before connecting the air start unit, pack 1, pack 2 off. So we're going to come up to the overhead, pack 1, pack 2 is off. Packs are selected off to prevent any possible contamination of the packs by the air start unit. Roger that. APU bleed is off. It's inoperative. We're good with there. Engine 1 bleed and engine 2 bleed also will come off. So engine 1 bleed off, engine 2 bleed off. I'm going to dim those a little bit. All right, check. Cross bleed, open. Cross bleed is in the open position. Air start unit request. So before we do that, let's close the final door. And let's or get the beacon on. And we'll run a B4 start checklist. Callie Simmer says, good morning. Barely made it to the flight. I actually just rescheduled a Costco run to this flight. Callie Simmer. Oh, dude, you're hardcore. I appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for the support. Glad to have you on. This one should get interesting. I'm doing my best. Once we get airborne and we start going through ECAMs, it's going to be very challenging for me to be interactive with you. So I'm trying to interact right now before we get off the gate because it's going to get wild. All right. Before start checklist, windows, doors, and slides. I've got the beacon on. I don't know when they will arm it, so we'll stand by on that. We'll get rid of that paper. I'm going to close that. We'll say that it's armed. Closed arm. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is, it is on. Parking brake is on. Let me give you guys the Throttletek cam. I tried to set the background lights to green, but it doesn't come through. So in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day. All right, so let's go ahead and request the air start unit. So we're going to leave it chalked. External power. We need external power because our APU is inoperative, so we need a source of power, and we also need a source of air. We're going to use high pressure air. Low pressure air is used to cool the cabin. Those are those big yellow hoses right here. You see these? This is like a low pressure air. So we're going to use high pressure air today. Go ahead and do that. High pressure connection request. When cleared to start, we're going to start engine 2 first because typically, I don't think it shows it outside, but generally speaking, the most times I've done this is they run that hose across and they'll run that hose, the high pressure air hose, right in front of this number 1 engine. So you'll have like an air start card here and then they'll run the hose, plug it in. And so we're going to turn number 2 first. All right. When clear to start, engine 2 start. So engine mode selector to ignition start. Vegas ramp, Bourbon 357. We're going to start an engine here at the gate. Bourbon 357, roger. Okay, we have start pressure confirmed. And we are going to start number 2 without dual cooling because we're not going to motor both engines on the ground air, if that makes sense. So you see how this cooling, this is good. This is staying correct. Because we do not want to motor both engines on ground air. It's just going to be a waste of ground air. Mr. Martini, thank you for the continued support. He says, about to board a flight back to Atlanta, just letting you know. Proud to sponsor you for 20 months. Mr. Martini, I was in ATL yesterday, dude. Thank you so much for the support, man. I'm glad to have you around for 20 months. That's nothing to laugh at, dude. Welcome. Thank you so much. Enjoy your flight back to the ATL. I'm going to be driving there tomorrow at 2 a.m., my friend. 2 a.m., I'm out of here. So there is a time when you start number 2. Yes, Chaos, there is. There is, no doubt. All right, so we'll actually, in real life, you would really be closely monitoring the start on a ground air because a ground air cart is not as powerful as your APU, so a lot of times you really got to watch that PSI, make sure it does indeed work as intended. What we will do, too, is a cross-bleed start off the gate. All right, air bleed 2 off, that's associated. Clear the caution, clear air, clear air. Status, clear status, because it's associated caution. Engine 2 is available. Okay, continuing with the procedure. After engine 2 is started, disconnect the external power with the external power push button switch on may cause injury to the engineer. Request disconnection of external power. So we have to do that as well. So we'll go ahead and external power is off. And then I'm going to check my electrical page. I want to make sure that we've picked up the load. So you see the priority here. We've got Gen 2 is powering both loads. Oh, I forgot I could do this. I love this part of the Toliss. So if I go back to ground power, see? So now with ground power and generator, it's split. So external power's got bus 1 and AC bus 2 is powered by Gen 2. But we're going to go ahead and disconnect. Nice flick over. And it has picked up the load. So cockpit to ground, ground to cockpit. We are all set up here. You go ahead and disconnect ground power and air. And you can go ahead and pull the chocks too. Around to cockpit, copy that. Pulling external power and air. Advise and ready to push. All right, so we got start. We'll clear the electrical page. External, okay, so when engine 2 is started, external power disconnection request, we already did that. Oh, and Chaos, I thought it was worth a note here in my procedure. It actually says, since you brought up engine 2. For any operational reason, Engine 1 can be started first. In this case, check that the brake accumulator pressure prior to engine start, and verify that the start hose is not in front of engine number 1. The minimum recommended starter air supply is 25 psi with the start valve open. So there is a note, Chaos, that does says you can indeed start engine 1 with ground air. Just in my personal experience, it's always been easier for them to run it across and we start too. So definitely possible. And we always want to make sure you have that brake accumulator pressure though, because you would be on a different hydraulic braking system there. All right, continuing. If the air start is used to start engine 1, it does not apply. If the cross-bleed engine start procedure is set to use engine 1, which it does apply, air start unit disconnect, cross-bleed back to the auto position. Engine 1 bleed is on. Engine 2 bleed on. Pack 1 on. Pack 2 on. Listen, you hear that whine? That's because the N1 is spooling up because we've just loaded up that engine now. So it's got to increase its ground idle, or it's increasing the demand on the engine, so it's got to increase its idle speed because we've just increased demand. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Little detail there. Little detail that's nicely simulated. All right. If cross-bleeding start procedure, we've done that. We've done that. And then we'll do the cross-bleed engine start procedure, which we're not going to do just yet. We'll do that on a taxiway. Cross-bleed engine start for the NEO. I got to find that one. I have the one cross-bleed engine start procedure that I have saved in my real-world charts is for 319s. Ironic, because that's the one that's always broken. Okay, we've got a good start. What we can do is we'll put the this back to normal. We're going to leave everything set here because we don't want to do this at the gate yet. So we're going to go ahead and just do a pushback. Let's do a straight push, and I'll do it from the ground panel here. We'll go ground mechanics. We've done that. Let's do pushback, request, straight back. They're going to do their thing here. So 32 minutes, we did a ground air start, and we're going to be pushing back. Not bad. Yes, furry MLG, I do. Ubar, good to see you. All right, brakes are released, and you are clear to push. Off we go. I wonder if I should bring this view. So the reason I saved this view today is because this was literally the wing view I had yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was. Yeah. I'm so confused in my days, guys. I had that crazy flight 2 days ago. Then I was jump seating yesterday to get back to Dallas. Then I'm here, and now I'm driving to Atlanta tomorrow. Crazy. Does the computer do most of the work in the 320? I would say no more than any other airplane in modern, and like NGs or whatever. They all the computers fly a lot of things. But there are more computers on an Airbus than a Boeing. So, how's the sound pack for this aircraft? Harold Phoenix, it's much improved. I think the engine sounds are pretty good. Is it perfect? No. Where I think the improvements could be made, if I were to make a constructive criticism, would be some of the internal switch sounds. You know, they just, I don't know how else to explain it other than they don't necessarily sound too correct, but they're not glaringly bad. So I would say it's been drastically improved over previous renditions of the Toliss aircraft when they've come out. I would think this is probably their best engine sound set, no doubt. So, all right, now that we've pushed back from the gate, we can go ahead and arm you. And let's go ahead and extend flaps 1. We'll do it from right here, shall we? I haven't tried a BSS pack in a while for MLG, and I can't recommend him anymore. I was in Dallas during the tornado. I was, and I'm hoping my truck isn't destroyed because my truck is still in the crew lot. If my truck is destroyed, I heard there was some bad hail down in the airport. Well, I had hail up here at the house, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm nervous about that. I hope my truck is all right in the crew lot. Okay, let's go ahead and taxi to 1 right, and then we will do a cross-bleed engine start. So after start checklist, anti-ice is off, yellow electric pump is off, Rudder trim is 0. After start checklist is complete. What were we supposed to be? Up 0.3. We'll do a little beep, beep. Oh, too far. There we go. So now, this is why you don't single engine taxi with number 2. Now, theoretically, when I release this parking brake, the PTU should turn on. So here we go. Let's take a listen. There you go. That is why you don't single engine taxi on number 2 if you can help it. Now, in this particular scenario, we kind of have to. We're not going to do a cross-bleed start in this direction, so we're going to roll out on 2 here, which is not ideal, and you can actually see that the hydraulic PTU is indicating that it's on. We'll get our taxi light on. Hexadus, good to see you. You are not late. We are just now taxiing out. We're going to do a cross-bleed start here momentarily. But yeah, you hear that ripping off? Beep, 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 beep. That's why ideally you don't do that. So we'll come over here, we'll get on one of these taxiways, and then we'll do our cross-bleed start, and then we should be good to roll out. XP72, good to see you. I thought you had a Prius. Oh, come on, XP. You know me better than that, my man. I just, speaking of my trucks, I've always had trucks, but I actually had a muscle car back in the day, too. I see you doing all your racing last night. Formula One. I was more of a drag racer, but I got on the diesel game at the wrong time, because right when I got a diesel truck, first ever brand new truck I ever had, it's diesel, and then, of course, diesel went through the frickin' roof. Good to see you, XP. All right, so here in Vegas, we'll come out here, we'll join taxiway as is Bravo, and then we will set the brake and we'll do a cross-bleed engine start. No, it's not a 350. Not a 350. Miles Pool, we are attempting to go to Burbank, but we're going to work through a couple scenarios. That is, spoiler alert, we are probably not going to end up in Burbank. So we'll make the turn here, we'll set the brake, and we'll execute a cross-bleed start. All right, let's go ahead and we'll start it here because we do need to get an engine warm-up time, which the Toliss will actually ding you. So the warm-up time for engines, the Toliss will actually ding you if you do your takeoff config test and you don't have the proper warm-up time if your oil temp is not properly set, which is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and set the brake. We'll go ahead and turn off the taxi light, and you'd have to communicate with ground saying, hey, is this a good spot? Yeah, it's a good spot to do your cross-bleed start. So since I don't think I've ever done one in the NEO, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think I've done a cross-bleed start in the NEO on the ground. Let's go ahead and run through this together. Do not perform the cross-bleed engine start during pushback. The use of engine bleed supply and external pneumatic power supply simultaneously is prohibited. Okay? One engine must be running in order to supply air for the other engine to start. I'm glad they put that in there. One engine must be running in order to supply air for the other engine to start. Wow. I wonder if that's an Airbus thing or if that's a company thing, because that note is, that's kind of like saying the landing gear must be down for landing. All right, continuing on. Before engine start, or before second engine start, APU bleed off. It is off, it does not apply. Engine bleed, the supplying engine on. Engine is on for number 2. That is our supplying engine. Pack supplying engine, confirm on. Pack 2 is confirmed on. Engine bleed, receiving engine off. So engine 1 bleed is now off. The bleed valve of receiving engine is closed to avoid reversed flow leakage. Roger. Pack receiving engine off. Pack 1 is off. The pack flow control valve on the receiving engine side is closed to prevent an increased ground idle on the supplying engine. Which, if you want to hack that for a single engine taxi, you can do that, but you didn't hear that from me. Cross bleed open. Let's go ahead and open the cross bleed valve. When clear to start, area clear of obstacles confirmed, thrust lever idle, receiving engine start. Now that's interesting. It says thrust lever idle. This is for Pratt & Whitney's too. So let's go ahead and go engine mode, ignition start. Wow, look at that. At idle power, we have enough. Apply the normal engine start procedure. Depending on the engine thermal state, the FADEC command an automatic dry cranking for engine cooling. We talked about that with the associated cooling indication on the EWD referred to engine cooling. So we have a 30-second cooling up there which is applied. This is cool. So let's go ahead and start number 1. So that's really the main difference here with the NEO is you don't even need to add power. Does the APU power the lav toilet? No. Yes, it will power. Yes, you can flush the toilet with the lav with the APU on if that's what you're asking. Depending on the mod, though, if you don't have the APU bleed on, it may not flush, or you may not get pressurization into the potable water to wash your hands. So there's we have airplanes that you have to have the bleed on, and we have airplanes that you don't have to have the bleed on. It just depends on the mod that you have on your fleet. So we're turning. I'm trying to get, I meant to open this one. Look at that. So the bleed supply has reduced down to 18 PSI. That's the freaking view I was trying to get. Sorry, guys, going back and forth. So look at that. We're idle thrust, but it's still doing its thing. 18 PSI. That's pretty cool. Flight Force, good to see you, my man. The LEAP needs power or it doesn't too? Gustavo? I'd have to check. I don't know, man. That's a good question. Another reason why the Pratt is superior. The bleed pressures the water. It does, but not in all of them. You can have a mod where you have residual pressure that'll stay in the tank. All right, looks like we got a good start on 2 from idle thrust. Pretty cool. All right, crossbleed engine start. Thrust lever supplying engine. Confirm idle. It's idle. Crossbleed back to the auto position. Air bleed 1, that's associated. So that goes to auto. Engine bleed, receiving engine on. Pack 1 on. Pack 2 is confirmed on. And we have a normal flow today because we've got the amount of passengers for it. So engine 2 is started. After start checklist, anti-ice off. Your electric pump is off. Rotor trim 0. After start checklist complete. Let's just go ahead and do the rest of our checks while we're here. We'll start the chrono as well. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Now watch this. If I go max takeoff config, we'll get a ding. Look at that. The temperature, 10C, does not suffice for engine start. I'm sorry, for takeoff. We got to warm it up. So that is pretty cool. So with delayed takeoff, that's why we have our warm-up time. Depending on how long the airplane's been sitting on the ground, it's either 5 minutes or 3 minutes, or you can just look here, but they publish it in time, so you're just extra safe. So we'll delay takeoff. I'm going to leave that ECAM up because I want to make sure we will do it properly. We'll get everything else auto, 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 TARA, and everything else looks good. Oh, I forgot to bring this back to the normal position. Falcon Fist, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. It says, hi, I'm a student pilot in training for my PPL and looking for a flight school. I have a second class med, but thinking to switch to a first class. Any advice? By the way, enjoying the content. Falcon Fist, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat. If you can get a first class medical, get one. I always say that. That way you know what you're... That way you know if there's any limits or anything in the future of what you're trying to accomplish. But if you can get a first class, get a first class. That would be my first suggestion. But good luck on your flight school search. Enjoy the journey, man. That's awesome. Thank you for your super chat. Glad you're enjoying the content. Yeah, it's like, is it 50? I think it's in the NEO is 50. I can look it up. 55? Well, no, here's the thing. This was actually a question that I got asked on my check ride. Well, there's obvious limitations, but the limitation for takeoff is different than what actually is green. And since it only goes in, I believe, 5-degree increments, it won't, it could be green and you wouldn't even know it. It is... Come on, baby. Let's go. Get the power in there. For the NEO, so the minimum temperature before takeoff is 52°C, but the ECAM, and this is something that we've discussed, so in the real airplane, I believe it only goes in 5-degree increments. So if you do a takeoff config check and you're at 51°C, it'll flash you engine one oil, low temp, delay takeoff, but you don't know, like, okay, well, how long do I have to wait? So it's 52 is the min takeoff, but it would probably be indicating 55 in real life, if I'm not mistaken. I think it goes in 5-degree increments in the real airplane. Surprisingly enough, that's actually not a limitation we're supposed to have memorized. I guess because of the ECAM, we just have that time limit there. Yeah, 5. Yeah, so we have the same 5. It's 5 and 3 depending on how long the airplane's been sitting. But all right, so we'll wait. We'll do our another takeoff config check when we get down here to 1 right. All right, clear left. Oh, that's why you don't turn in engine view or wing view. But that's one of the big things at the NEO. I mean, especially with the problems the Pratts have had, the warm-up time, you really got to get it warmed up nicely. So I assume if first start of the day, 5 minutes, if a turnaround, 3 minutes. Zach, yeah, 3 minutes on a turnaround, especially if you're keeping the same plane. You can check, so the way I do it is I'll check in the ACARS to see when the last flight blocked in at, and then I know. And you kind of get an idea. You know, if you're flying in the middle of the day, that plane's probably been doing turns, and you can see the temps when you get in. You can see the temps on the engine already. If they're still warm, it's from it just flying. You get an overnighter or cold weather, that's different. But it's that redundancy. We use timing for our limitation as a company, but even if you mess that up, the airplane is still going to correct you, right? Because it's got the delay takeoff. So we'll go ahead and set the brake here. We'll wait. I think we're still waiting on that one, aren't we? We should be getting close. Oh, it says it's green now. Let's go here. Cabin check. Takeoff all green. Okay. Go ahead and reset that. Now let's go ahead and save state. Actually, let's save it when we line up on the runway. So we'll get our wing lights on. We'll do this. We'll get all this on. Oh yeah, so look, I double clicked it. So it's 1 click. That's going to take some getting used to. That's going to get some getting used to that. That's crazy. Jeremy Harvey, good to see you, man. We have done a ground air start. We've done a cross bleed start. And now we're going to do a takeoff. And then we're going to work through some more systems on this airplane. Glad to have you, Jeremy. Welcome. Jeremy, I'm sorry I didn't get to you yesterday. I saw your comment in a replay that you just got back out of surgery. I hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're recovering, whatever your surgery entailed. So there's that fairing light. I don't know if I don't know if I like it or not. I tell you what I do like, flyby cam. How cool is that, huh? I wonder if we're going to be semi-straight here. I'm just going to try to line up on the runway and flyby view. I think I'm cockeyed. Yeah, we're still a little cockeyed. Does the ice light work in the A320 NEO? I actually don't know. No. I don't know, unless we have to check it at night. It works in the standby compass, it looks like. So it works in the standby compass, Gustavo, but I don't see it there. Now, that's cool that you can bring that down. I don't know if that was always part of it. Okay, so before we take off, let's save state. Thank you. So we're going to save this situation as Las Vegas takeoff. We will save that situation, so we're good to go. Now we're going to go into fault. We have something else going to happen, and then we're going to add a new fault in the spirit of St. Paddy's Day. Let's select hydraulics. Let's select green system leak. And let's say it starts happening at an altitude of around, let's say it happens out in the climb out, because I want to work through some other stuff with you guys. Let's say we go through, 20,000 feet or so. So that is all set. I don't think we have to apply it, but that's going to be our big mama, and that's going to lead into some other things. So until then, let's just pretend you didn't see any of that. This is a normal takeoff. We're in a NEO, no APU. We're going to Burbank. Let's get some yogas in chat. We're going to spool them up 50. Ooh. Let's smash down that like button because I'm about to be working really, really hard. Milltown, good to see you. Traveling across Pennsylvania. Well, enjoy the takeoff, my friend. Yoga. This is a Paxon. So we got Toga SRS. Auto thrust is blue. Thrust set. 100 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive right and gear up. Navin. Flyby. That's pretty cool. Let's do another one. Absolutely love it. Oh, we're supposed to start the turn. All right, we're thrust, climb, nav. Going over the strip, man. Not bad for default Vegas, I'll tell you what. For default, not bad. But the NEO sounds so nice, doesn't it? See, I like the flyby sound. I think it's really good. I do like the flyby sound on the NEO. It sounds pretty darn good. We're going to do that about 400 times. Hopefully we got Cali Simmer down there. Hopefully he made the flight today. From those slot machines. Gosh, that never gets old. There's S-speed, flaps, 0 after takeoff checklist. Man, we need to do this departure at Microsoft next. Alright, we're going to continue on flying here. Let's get back on it. No more showboating around. Thrust, climb, nav. We're going up to 260. We're getting back on the star. We have an adder above 5,000 at Bessie, which we're well above that, so we're looking good. Let's get back on it. Okay, here's our first signal of things to go wrong. Air left wing leak. Okay, master caution, clear the caution. Engine 1 bleed off. Engine 1 bleed off. Cross bleed shut. Cross bleed shut. Avoid icing conditions. Clear air. Clear air. Status. Stop status. Can we consult any checklist? Do we need to do any after takeoff checklist? We already did that. We're going to consult the COM. And then we're going to go ahead and continue. So let me make this turn here. Matter of fact, let's just do this. Let's go autopilot 1, simulating that. You have control, chat. And I'm going to the comm. So we have an air. What was it? So let me hit the recall button. Or I'm sorry, let me clear that. I should be able to pull it up with a recall. There's a left wing engine 1 bleed leak. So let's go ahead and go to the comm. Should be able to pull that up on the recall. That might be a little bit of a bug. There's 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the lights off. Fly the airplane first. So at this point, what is that now? Air bleed 1 off. That's associated. Clear air. So I'm going to leave that up. So let's go to the comm. Abnormal. Air, bleed, leak. Gotta select the NEOs. All right. Air, bleed, leak. Oh no, it's engine. This is why it's nice to have that recall, because I could see exactly what it is. Normal. Air, engine, 1, 2, bleed. Alright, pack 1 is off, bleed is off. Avoid icing conditions. Okay, so there's nothing else in the comm. So let's go ahead and clear air, clear air. You could see now that we've got engine 1 bleed is off, high pressure valve is closed, pack flow control valve is closed, that's all normal. We'll clear bleed, avoid wing anti-ice, or I'm sorry, avoid icing conditions. We'll go ahead and clear that. Check gross weight message, I'm not sure what that's all about. Hopefully we didn't mess something up on our pre-flight. But okay, at this point, we're still pretty much, I wouldn't consider a diversion at this point. I mean, we've isolated the problem, we don't have any other problems, everything else is indicating normal. So we're gonna just go ahead and continue on our operation here. Check gross weight. Is that a leak or did we fail in ITB? No, our ITB was done. $132.1, $132.2, 29.7. I don't see what's wrong with that. Oh, did we fail our init B? Did we never do our init B? No, we did. That might just be an X-Plane 12 bug. Because everything is right. 132, 132. Everything is matching, so we're okay. We're okay. Roberto, good to see you, man. Roberto, yes, the Throttletek does work well with the Toliss. Does work well with the Toliss, indeed, Roberto. Welcome to the stream, man. Working through a bunch of ECAM stuff here today. We're going to try to break this airplane. Oh, zero fuel weight is 141. Oh, yeah, zero fuel weight, 141. Well, what was our... But this shows gross weight. That shows... I mean... I think we're fine. We'll just leave it. 130... Yeah, sorry. I saw the zero fuel weight, so obviously there was an error somewhere. We'll go ahead and set standard. That's all right. It's not going to kill us. Standard is set 1, 2, and 3. We're climbing up 260. Maybe there was an error when I did a... gross weight should be 150. Let's see if that stops it. If it gets it close. Yeah, because we had 10,000, right? So maybe that will stop it. Fake pilots in chat. RIP. I must have done something wrong when we did just the quick load, because we never had that problem before. All right. Let's just say we're climbing along. We're doing our thing. We're getting ready to go over the mountains. Let's say, hey, Bourbon 357, clear direct crem. Boom. Secondary, copy the active. Progress page, I'm going to put Burbank in here. Everything is looking good. We're climbing up to our cruise altitude. All is normal as of now. Oh, we're not going to have a declared emergency back to Vegas? AJ, good to see you, man. No, as of right now, we're fine. In this current scenario, we had a bleed scenario. It doesn't say that we need to land ASAP. It doesn't, nothing is indicating that we would need to do an emergency at this emergency return right now. So we're going to continue, and we're just going to see what happens. Will you ever do a flight with the first officer? Yeah, if we ever get some good multi-crew stuff, sure. I've seen some planes in real life where instead of reducing thrust, it increases thrust when hitting thrust reduction altitude. Where instead of reducing at thrust reduction, they increase altitude? They increase speed if it's acceleration altitude. Yes, the AP was still an op, Joy Bagpipes. Would you make 8 to see aware of dispatch where this is? Zach, you would, at this point, I mean, I wouldn't really be getting too worried, but I would send a message to dispatch or through maintenance control. Through MOC, I would send them, because we could talk to maintenance directly through the McDo as well, at least where I work. And we would send them, hey, maintenance is going to be needed on the ground in Burbank. We got a bleed leak, isolated. Nothing else is wrong. Looking at everything else. We're pressurizing normally. Everything else is looking good. Fuel is balanced, just a little bit off. We got a little bit more on the left side, which that would be normal because you're not requesting that demand, the bleed from the number one engine. So it's going to be burning less gas than the second engine. And you can actually see that here. Look at that. 4360, 4430. So we're burning a little bit more fuel on the number 2 side because that's the one providing the bleed. There's no more bleed demand on the number 1 engine, so let's relieve the load a little bit. So that's something you would maybe keep an eye on. If you were doing a transcon, a really long flight, then yeah, you're going to be wanting to monitor that. Also, you want to make sure, because of this, you want to avoid icing conditions. So it would be very important to continue to check your ATIS. Let's see what we got here. So speaking of checking for ATIS. Burbank, 10 miles and clear. Beautiful. So even though the temperatures are kind of getting close to that, you know, there could be some icing scenarios where clear skies, 11 degrees in Burbank, beautiful. We'll go ahead and get rid of those papers. We're leveling off at 360, and now what do we have? All right, clear the caution, acknowledge the ECAM. Hydraulic green, reservoir low level. Uh-oh. PTU off. Okay. PTU off. Now this is getting a little bit more serious. Green engine 1 pump off. You can see it's faulted, brings your eyes to where they need to go. Engine 1 pump off. Okay. Hydraulic green, reservoir low level. Engine 1 pump low pressure, green system low pressure, flight control wheel. Okay. Clear hydraulic. Hydraulic green, engine 1 pump low pressure. You can see our hydraulic page here. We have green is no longer providing any hydraulic pressure. We've in-opt the PTU in case, now in a normal scenario, there is no fluid transfer, right? But we don't know what caused the green system to go away. So just in case there is some type of catastrophic failure within the hydraulic system over here on the green side, we do not want the PTU doing anything associated with the green system because we are protecting our yellow system. That's imperative you get that PTU off because it's going to try to help pressurize green. Right now we don't know what's going on, so we need to go ahead and keep that one isolated. So that's why we've isolated the PTU and turned it off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm simultaneously doing some stuff here. Hydraulic green. I'm gonna bring up we're hydraulic green 1 pump low pressure. PTU inoperative. All right, green system low pressure, flight control. We've done all that, so we're gonna go ahead and clear engine 1 pump low pressure. Clear engine 1 green system low pressure. Okay, so flight controls. This is where we do our briefing. With green system is in op on our flight controls. It's indicated here. Spoilers 1 and 5 are in op. We're using blue and yellow for everything else. Clear flight control. Wheel page. We've got anti-skid in op. Normal braking is op. Auto braking is no longer allowed. Okay, we're down to alternate brakes and we've got the accumulator as well. Clear wheel, clear wheel. Status. Stop status. Let's consult the ECAM. Let's consult the COM, and let's work through this. So I'm going to look up hydraulic green again. Now I'm going to the COM. Now in real life, there's going to be some real world decisions that are taking place right now. So I'm going to kind of go through that before we hit the COM. I just found out that I've got a hydraulic problem. I know my normal braking is in op. This is going to bring a slew of other problems with us. Do I really want to be taking this airplane into Burbank at this condition? The answer is no. We're not going into less than a 5,000-foot runway. What are our options? You consult with dispatch. Do you want us to return back to Vegas, or do you want us to go somewhere else? And this scenario, where we are, honestly, I actually like the idea of LAX better. Super long runway, no terrain. We've already crossed the mountain range. I'm going to talk to dispatch about coordinating a Los Angeles diversion. At that point, if we are good to go with the diversion with dispatch, or if I just make a captain decision saying, hey, this is time critical, we need to go to LA now, I would tell the FO, get the diversion started at LA. I'm going to handle the comm.
I ran down the jetway and hopped on the plane without knowing where we are going. So, where are we going in this bucket?
Kelly Simmer, thank you so much for the $5 bank angle check right back at you. Just got your question answered, my friend. We are now going to LAX. So before I tackle the ECAM, I am going to kind of pretend I've switched roles now, and I'm going to set up a diversion into Los Angeles. So I'm pretending I'm pilot flying while, let's say, Phantom is running the ECAM. We're going to run the ECAM and additional procedures here soon. But first, how can we get a diversion to LAX? I'm going to select LS key 2, new destination. I'm going to select LAX. We're going to go ahead and select heading select, and insert that. Now, depending on what air traffic control says, this is Bourbon 357, we're declaring emergency. We'd like to divert to Los Angeles. Bourbon 357, roger, flight present heading. I'll have a direct here for you shortly. Roger that. Maintain 260. All right, so LAX, we're going to select ILS 25 left or right. Right side is longer. We're going to go ahead and select ILS 25 right. No star. No via, or do we want sea view? Let's do sea view transition. Where's sea view at? Yeah, we want the sea view transition. So we're going to select it via sea view. We're going to go ahead and insert that. Now, of course, hopefully, we've already looked at the weather in LA. Again, that would be a big player in this failure, right? Because not only can we think about our hydraulic problem. Do you remember we still have our bleed problem? So we cannot be forgetting about that. We got to make sure that the weather is no icing conditions in LAX as well, if we can help it. So we're sending weather for LAX. It looks like it's come through right now. This is where you can see it's getting very busy. Weather received, METAR LAX 220 at 4, temperature 15, nice and warm, scattered at 5, few at 24, 10 miles. That looks absolutely perfect. Nice long drive runway. We'll print that off and get it up here. Perf data, let's go ahead and start flying the airplane first. 76301, that's fine. Let's get the environmentals in. 3006 is set. Temperature is 15 selected. Winds on LAX 220 at 4 knots. We'll put that in there. 220 at 4. Barrel for the ILS 25 right. We'll go ahead and pull that up. LAX. Search. Los Angeles. This one I actually need to look up because you typically don't ever land on 25 right. ILS 25 right. Localizer ILS 25 right. Loading that chart. We're coming in off of the CV. We could have probably done the circus transitions. We'll go direct Lycombe anyway here shortly. ILS minimums are 304. Barrow is 304. We're going to go ahead and put that in there. Let's get our LS push buttons on. Done and done. Bourbon 357. LA Center. Proceed direct to Lycombe. And descend and maintain fly level 180. Direct to Lycombe, descend to fly level 180, Bourbon 357. Thrust idle, open descent, Navin. Flight level 180 is selected. LS push buttons are on. We're continuing down. Fly-by-wire for the win. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, man. You caught me in the middle of a breaking airplane stream. Good to see you. LA's been E-stops today. Don't tell me that. What was the wind? Nah, 220 at 4. We're fine as of right now. Happy St. Pat's from your favorite Boston subscriber. Fly-by-wire Roscoe, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for that. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. In lieu or in celebration of St. Patty's Day, we have failed the green hydraulic system, Roscoe. So thank you so much, man, for the support. Appreciate you, man. All right, hydraulic green reservoir. So there's a couple different ones we got to look at. But if the low level or low pressure, basically hydraulic green is low level now, right? Fluid quantity less than 0.92 US gallons. PTU is off. Green engine one pump is off. Green engine one pump, low pressure, we got that. That was associated. The associated procedure, green system low pressure, Fuel consumption increased. FMS prediction is unreliable. We have secondary failures, which was already briefed in the ECAM with the wheels and the flight controls. Looking at the status, or I'm sorry, that brings us to the status page, but there is nothing else really in the COM that we can do to remedy this situation. We've already done what we needed to do. So let's go ahead and proceed with the status page. Landing gear, gravity extension. So we're going to have to do a gravity extension on the landing gear. Landing distance procedure apply. We're going to have to apply that. One pack only if wing anti-ice on. So if we have to get wing anti-ice on, we got to make sure we're down to one pack, which we already are because we're that. But let's just try to avoid icing conditions. Slats, flaps, slow. This is a big one. We can get absolutely hammered if you're coming in fast and you forgot about this. Slats, flaps are going to operate slowly. Cat 3 single only. Inoperative systems, green hydraulics, spoilers 1 and 5, yaw damper 1, Cat 3 dual, normal brake, auto brake, landing gear retraction sequence, engine 1 bleed, reverser 1, pack 1. You got all that? Clear status. Okay, so now we got to continue flying the airplane here because I'm doing multiple scenarios. So I'm going to say we need more time. We have a lot of stuff we need to get through here with alternate landing, and we got to go over the landing gear extension procedure. So LA Center, Bourbon 357, we're going to request a hold over Lycombe. We got some more. We need some more time. Bourbon 357, Roger. Hold over Lycombe. Is there a computed hold? Yes. Let's go plan. It sure is right there on the inbound. Perfect. That's the hold I want to do. Hold over Lycombe, right turns, legs your discretion, descend and maintain 10,000. All right, hold as published over Lycombe, right turns, legs our discretion, descending to 10,000 feet for Bourbon 357. We're going to go ahead and dial in 10,000 feet now in the window. I don't want to do 1 minute legs. That's a little bit long. Let's do, or short, that's a little bit short. Let's do 2 minute legs. That'll at least get us out a little bit further. We'll go ahead and temporary that, and we'll insert that. So now our hold over Lycombe is a little bit longer. We don't have to worry about just constantly turning back and forth. All right, so that is set. We're going to descend down to 10,000. That actually might be a little bit low for the terrain that's up there. So let's, I don't know what ATC would go. Let's just say 15,000. Amend the altitude, maintain 15,000. All right. Perf. Oh, well, that's all. We're going to stand by there. So that's set. We've already done our other perf data. Everything else looks good. What was our situation here? 30.6 is the meter. So let's set 3006. All right, 3006. Double checking my hydraulics here, making sure nothing else is failing. I'm really watching these two like a hawk now because while we're totally fine with 2 hydraulics, if one has failed, you don't know what caused it to fail. You want to keep making sure your other hydraulics are doing just fine. So everything else looks good. We're on the descent down. Flight Dispatch 320, I see you joined there, became a commercial pilot, or excuse me, a private pilot. Flight Dispatch, thank you for joining the channel, man. Exclamation point, welcome with your new perks here on the channel, dude. Thank you so much. Okay, so we need to look at a couple things here. Landing gear gravity extension procedure. That's going to be a long one. So let's go here. Landing gear. Gravity extension procedure. A320 series NEOs. We're speed out star to 15,000. That's fine. We're leveling. Cool. And at this time, we would also be making a radio call to dispatch if we haven't already. Told them what we're doing, where we are. Also, we would make a PA to the folks, let them know the scenario that we're diverting into LA. We're sorry for the inconvenience. We'll be on the ground shortly. So we've done all that. Remember, this would be set up with 2 separate pilots here. So hopefully at this point in real life, ECAM is already done. Landing procedures standing by from the non-flying pilot. All the communications have been completed, and we're ahead of the airplane. But with me just doing a single pilot, we're kind of going back and forth. I got to skip some things and do whatnot. But you get the idea, right? All right. Landing gear gravity extension procedure. We got to review this because this is one you got to make sure you pay attention to. Do not apply this procedure if at least one green triangle is displayed on each landing gear on the wheel SD page. This is sufficient to confirm the landing gear is down and locked. So if we had, if it was down and locked, that's kind of doesn't apply to this scenario. But continuing on. If landing gear not down locked alert was displayed, that does not apply. Okay. So in all other cases, gravity gear extension hand crank. pull and turn. Rotate the handle clockwise 3 turns until reaching the mechanical stop, even if resistance is felt. So I'm not going to do it right now, but what we are going to do when it's time, we're going to pull this out, and this is you can kind of see it here, and you'll see it when we pop it out. This is like a hand crank, and we're going to rotate it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, all the way to the mechanical stop, even if resistance is felt. Each turn does something different. Releases the up locks, then it releases the hydraulic pressure and allows the gear to free fall. So it's very imperative that you go all the way to the mechanical stop. Landing gear lever down. The landing gear lever should be confirmed in the down position for the following reasons. To extinguish the unlock lights on the landing gear indication panel, to prevent the landing gear control message from appearing on the wheel SD page, to minimize the risk of gear retraction, this is a big one, on the ground due to an unknown system fault when the free fall system is reset. So you want to make sure you put the gear handle down when you do this procedure, even though it's not going to do anything. Because if you leave it in the up position and then you do this procedure and you're on the ground and there's some type of reset, it could inadvertently start retracting the gear on the ground. You don't want to be that guy. Gear indications, if available, check. Now, when we do this procedure for real, it's going to be a lot less, there's going to be a lot less to do. We can skip a lot of this. We're just reviewing it before we have to do it. Depending on aircraft speed, the display may show the landing gear door in the amber transit position. In the event of gravity extension caused by the failure of both LGCIUs, that does not apply. If 3 green downlock arrows are not on, it is possible that the hand crank is not at the mechanical stop. Check that the hand crank is firmly against the mechanical stop. If successful, do not reset the landing gear gravity extension. Do not reset the free fall system so you avoid undesirable effects and further loss of fluid in the event of a leak, which is possible for us, or possible landing gear unlocking in the event of a gear selector valve jamming in the up position. Note, the free fall system may be reset in flights used for training. That does not apply. This is a real world scenario where we need to do this for real. If unsuccessful, landing gear with abnormal landing gear procedure apply. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, so recap what we've done here. We got to make sure we get the gear down, lock 3 cranks all the way to the stop. We're going to put the handle down first to make sure that it just is in the position is correct with the position of the landing gear for the other thing. So we reviewed that. Now we need to look at our landing distance procedure. So let's come over here. And I'll tell you what we can do now is we're approaching that. Let's go ahead and descend to 10,000, Bourbon 357. Descend and maintain a 10, 10,000 feet, speed your discretion. Descend to 10,000, speed our discretion, Bourbon 357. So we've got 10,000, whoa. We've got 10,000 set, down we go. Landing performance. Let's continue here. Los Angeles, 25 right. It's already got the winds, the OAT, dry anti-ice on, 148.9. So we are above max. Oh boy, we're going to be, right above max. 148.4. We would probably we can burn some gas in the hold until we get down below our max landing weight, but let's run it here at max. Config full. Air conditioning on. No need to add pilot VAP. Brake mode is going to be manual brakes, reversers off. All right. Now, in my performance in landing that we do in the real airplane, there is a section to add failures of system. So we would add our green system fault and a couple other things, and that would help dictate what we need. So overweight, we know that. Here is our margin, 7,453 feet. We got plenty of distance. Landing distance required, 4,474. That's with the buffer, and then the actual 3373. We've got 3 knots of headwind, 2 knots of crosswind. We are overweight, so we would probably sit and hold, burn some gas if need be. But we have plenty of runway, and kind of the Phoenix. The Phoenix has the ability to add some failures to your landing performance calculator. This one doesn't, but the way that they depict this screen here is like freakishly similar to what we use in the real airplane as well. So this is pretty good. I like to see that. What we have to do at some point is do a normal flight, and then I'll have to check it with my system as well. Now, if I do it on mine, we're going to have longer landing distances because of the failures that I have implemented. So we've done that. We've discussed the flaps are going to be slow. And We're slowing to 250. Let's go ahead and manually select 250 knots. So with the flaps being slow, we're going to configure a little bit early. That would be ideal, right? So we're going to do configure early out on the approach. At this point, we're feeling pretty good. Let's go ahead and go to the final approach fix since we are an emergency aircraft. And if we need to hold over the final, we'll hold over the final. So let's go to our Avi tab. The final for 25 right is Fogla. Bourbon 357. Proceed. Direct. Actually, what's the one right before Fogla? Because that's a nice distance between there to help get us configured. Let's go direct to Shell. Proceed direct to Shell. And descend and maintain 5,000. Descend and maintain 5,000. Proceed direct to Shell. Bourbon 357. So 5,000 is set. Thrust idle. Open descent. We're going through 10. Let's get all of our lights on. All right, now we're cooking with gas. All right. We are still a little bit fat on 148.4. Okay, so you guys have been briefed. We've done all of our stuff. We know we got to configure early. We know we got to do a hand crank procedure. Because of the hand crank procedure, we're probably going to want to give ourselves a nice long final or even hold over Shell, which is close to the final. That way we can get everything set and then continue inbound on this approach. But let's just say we're continuing on. And then we get a ding. Oh boy. Okay. Electric Gen 1 fault. Clear the master. Clear the caution. Clear the caution. Acknowledge the ECAM. Electric Gen 1 fault. Gen 1 off. Okay. Gen 1 off. All right, now our pack, this should have been selected off earlier. I don't know why it's not off. All right, electric Gen 1 fault. Okay, clear electric. The error that was there earlier, clear error. Status, stop status. Let's consider some things. Okay, we're below 8. We're below our APU start altitude, so I'm going to go ahead and start the APU. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm down to one engine. Something is happening with our number one engine that is triggering some failures. We've started out with the bleed. We've lost hydraulic, and now we've lost the electrical on the number one engine. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately... Oh, we can't even start the APU. That's right. Guess what? APU is in op. Cannot start the APU. So now we are kind of getting up against the 8-ball. We've got one generator. We can't start the APU. Let's go ahead and consult the ECAM. So electric Gen 1. It's going to just tell us to reset, but it's not going to happen. So Gen 1. Where are you at? Gen 1 or 2 fault. Oh, good. It just crashed. All right, off and then on. So we'll go up here. Off. It's off. Try to reset. Nothing. Okay, so now I'm really starting to get a little... I'm starting to sweat. Like, okay, we are down to one generator and 2 hydraulic systems, no APU. We've already declared an emergency. Now I'm focused on getting this airplane down on the ground as quick as we can. Yeah, off and on, then everything. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do. So, no placards. Yeah, that's why I went to start the APU. I wish there was a way to just stick placards on somewhere. Like, hey, if you like in the ISCS, like just click something, and then that allows you to place a sticker, an MAL sticker. I wouldn't have, in real life, there would be an orange sticker or whatever it is that your airline uses up here to signify that this has been in-opt. So, all right, we're continuing on status. There's nothing else to consider. We've already talked about everything else about what we're dealing with, so we'll clear status, and now we start to sweat. All right, so we're continuing on. We're inbound to Shell. We're about, 16 miles from Shell. Shell is at 37. Let's continue the descent to 4. Let's go ahead and open descent, 4,000. LS push buttons are on. We're already through 10. We can activate and confirm the approach phase. And let's just say we're flying along. And we get an engine 2. Uh-oh.
Number 1 engine is broke. Someone needs to check with William Shatner to see if he sees anything out on the wing of the plane. It's either that, or some meth head scrappers got into some stuff overnight.
C2A, thank you so much, man, for the $3 bank angle check. I appreciate you, my man. Yes, William Shatner. Oh, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support. Bank angle check right back at you, my friend. All right, I got to figure out what I want to do here because I actually forgot that my AP was in op. So we're coming down. Ding-dee-dee-dee-dee. And then I want to do that later. So I guess we'll do it. What the hell? What the hell? Let's go here. Let's go electric. I don't know why I do this to myself. Right engine generator. And we're going to do it at altitude. That's already now. Let's just do it now. Flying along, this happens. Okay, I have control. Auto thrust is off. Vertical speed heading. Okay, now you're like, uh-oh, what was that? Immediately acknowledge caution. Look at our ECAM. Emergency electrical configuration. Min rat speed is 140 knots. Gen 1+2 off and on. So this is where it's going to get tight because I would like to have 2 people here. So we know we can't reset that one. It's already messed up. We tried Gen 2 off and on. Oh boy. Recoverable. Okay, vertical speed 300. We've recovered Gen 2 with a reset. Flight control alternate law. You can see it's indicated here by amber X's. All right. We should, now that we have our generator back online, we can start to see if we can rebuild some automation. I'm going to go back to auto thrust. Auto thrust is back on. We're coming back to idle. Okay, that looks good. We need to go down. We need to reset our FCU. Let's just set 3,000. We're going to pull for open, thrust idle open, descent. Let's see if we can rearm the approach. We can't get the autopilot. So what can we do to see if we can reset that? Let's go up here to our FACs. Let's try a FAC reset. Autopilot 1 is coming back online. Okay, so I'm helping myself out now. We're glide slope blue. Loc has been captured. Cat 3 single. We've got other problems, though. We've got other problems here to deal with. The rat is out. The rat has a limitation of 140 knots. Luckily, though, we've been able to reset engine 2 generator. So at this point, we're still SOL because we got to get the airplane down. We got to start configuring here. So I'm going to go ahead and remanage the speed. We're going to start slowing all the way up. We're below 250 knots. First thing I want to do now is let's go ahead and finish the clear status. We'll go ahead and clear status. And let's go ahead and start gravity extending the gear because with what's going on, that's 1, 2, and 3. Oh, gear handle down position. Should have done that first. We're going to take a look outside and look, well, we've got an extension. Manual extension is happening. We've got the rat out as well. The rat does make a really loud noise. Looks like we're getting our engines back, or we're leveling. Look how slow that gravity extension is, and guess what? Our gear doors are going to hang open, right? All right, we're VFing next -10, flaps 1. Remember, the slats are extremely slow, and look at that simulation here. Really slow because we still have the engine 1 or the green system hydraulic out as well. So we're really trying to slow down now. All right, glide slope star, go around altitude. We'll maintain 3,000. 3,000 is white. We're going to continue to try to slow down here. I'm also going to do something else. Add new fault. All right, spice it up. We're right there at our VFE. Let's go flaps 2. We're right at the limit. Now, we do get some flight spoilers. 1 and 5 are not working though. You can see 1 and 5, but we're in flight though, so we're going to check that when we land. But this is why you got to make sure you're on it, because we are getting hot. We do not want to go around in this configuration. There's VFE next -10 flaps 3. I'm right on the limit. Now, if we were doing a rat landing with the rat out, it would be a minimum of 140 knots and a flaps 3 landing. But we've got our generator back, so we're going to go config full. We're going to stow that. We cannot use auto brakes, and look, they don't arm. That's properly simulated as well. So we're coming down to our V approach speed, status, clear status. You can see here, even forget min rat speed, 140 knots. What we could do is, since I've already lost one, what if we select flaps 3? What if we do a config 3, 145? So it's going up to 145, and we're going to select the flap 3, and we're going to go ahead and retract a step. Because in case we lose that generator again on short final, I want to make sure we have our rat producing power since it's already out. Cabin's been notified. Spoilers are armed. We'll arm them. We're doing a flap 3 landing now, 145. All right, I have runways in sight. At this point, you're well inside of an emergency aircraft. Get the airplane on the ground. Autopilot is off. We're configured. We've got our 3 green lights. And then this happens. I don't know why we're not getting the warning. There it is. Engine 2 fire. Acknowledge the caution. At this point, let her burn. Thrust lever 2, I don't know. We're going to let it burn. We're 600 feet from touchdown. Let it burn. Let's get her on the ground. You have 1 shot. Engine 2 is still producing thrust. We're going to get it on the ground.
100 above.
Landing. I'm going to bring this one in low because I am not going around. We're coming in. We're clear. Runway's assured. I'm getting it down as quick as I can. Going to lose the slope here. That's fine. Idle. We're down. Idle reverse. On the brakes hard. Now look, we've got to monitor our 1500 PSI. And look, this airplane has, it's properly simulating it too. So it's locking it at 1500. That's normal. Slow it down, slow it down. Monitoring that 1500 PSI. And let's go ahead and set the brake. I'm probably getting calls. Flight attendant stations, so we would notify them. All right, engine 2 fire. Engine master 2 off. Engine fire push button 2 push. You're on the ground, so you do not have to confirm it. Uh-oh. No. I think we just crashed the sim. I think we just crashed the sim. Oh no. That replay. We broke it. We successfully broke it. We successfully broke it. X-Plane 12. Yeah, it would have dropped down to battery. So I killed Gen 2 with that shutdown, with that push, right? When we hit that, let's just do a new flight. Let's load McCarran because we're going to do our RTOs and stuff. So let's just do this. We'll go here. We'll confirm. We'll just start a new flight. But I want too juicy for X-Plane 12, but let's talk through what was going to happen there. So because Gen 1 was out, we were on fire with number 2. Man, I really wanted to see that replay coming in on fire. Like, that was the point of that. As soon as we hit that engine fire push button, we do a couple things. We shut off hydraulics, fuel. Basically, you shut it down. Bleed, everything, those valves close on the onside of the engine. And obviously, that's going to disconnect power, right? The power is going to spool down. So once that chipped off, we have no APU. We're down to battery only. And then we're going to have to commence an evacuation. But you want to fight the fire first, which the next step was to discharge the bottles. And then once the fire has been fought, we're going to commence the evacuation. Now, obviously, we successfully overstressed X-Plane 12, but it's not over. We're going to try to continue. We're going to do some RTOs here in super hot weather before we wrap it up. But, man, Try reloading the last autosave. That's a good, let's try it. I'll try it. Let's try the last autosave. Tom says, to be fair, you at least didn't break the Toliss. We didn't break the Toliss. We broke the sim. We broke the sim, not the Toliss. So is Mike, okay, let's go ahead and do, I'm just curious. Last autosave. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to see what happens. I don't know where the engine was, but I'm going to put it in the on position, and I'm going to put these in the idle detent because I don't know where it was. So let's just see what happens. Let's load it and just see. I have no idea where the last autosave was. We'll give it a second. Funny enough, except maybe for the engine fire and some of the ECAMs, the failure should be simulatable on the fly-by-wire NEO. Interesting, KS. Well, maybe we're going to have to try that one. Try it up next. Got to go already. Thanks for the amazing stream. Have a great weekend. Dave Hagen, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Whoa, okay, we're back. Hold the phone. We got the rad out. We're slowing down. Autopilot's on. Gear is out. All right, we're doing good. Oh, look at this. Hey, we've got it. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to do an engine 1 fire instead of engine 2 because I don't know if that was caused by battery or not. So let's just 600 feet. That's fine. We'll apply that. We're back. We need to keep slowing down. We need to keep slowing down. What's happening? Oh, my flap lever was in the wrong position. That was me. That's a simism. Flap lever was left. Oh, where are you trying to go? Where are you trying to go? It was 145. There's flaps 2. We're going to reconfigure. We're doing a flaps 3 landing, right? In case we lose that generator again, we've got to be on the rat. We're doing a flaps 3 landing. Gear is down. Here comes VFE next, flaps 3. We're slowing to VFE. We're looking good. All right, we're back on it. Toliss for the win. You see what I'm talking about, guys? You see what I'm talking about? I'll tell you what, it'd be interesting if we do something else here in a second. So, all right, we're flying along. I've got manual contrast of the thrust levers. Oh, I didn't bind that, I guess. Auto thrust is off. My thrust levers. Autopilot's off. All right. Everything else is good. Our ECAMs, we did them. I know they're amber right now, but we already did them on the first flight, so we're just going to try this replay here. Oh boy, here it comes. There it is. Engine 1 fire. Acknowledge. Let it burn. We're at 500 feet. We have a lot of problems with this airplane. We're going to put it on the ground now. We're letting it burn. As soon as, and I tell my FO, hey, as soon as that brake is set, we're going to fight the fire. And dude already tell LA ground, roll the trucks.
200 minimum.
Oh, parking brake. Thank you.
100.
We're an alternate braking. That would have been interesting.
50, 40, 30.
Idle.
Retard. 10.
Put her down. I don't worry about butters or anything. Idle reverse. Modulate that brake pressure, but with the NEOs and these new aircraft, they will automatically limit it for you, which is nice, so you can just kind of hold a nice steady brake pressure. We're slowing down. We're slowing down. All the way down. 60 knots. Caleb, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. All right, we're going to stop that. Brakes are set. Flight attendant stations. Okay, now let's go ahead and continue. Engine 1 fire. Engine 1 master off. Engine fire. Push button 1. Push. So we're on the ground. Don't need to confirm. Push. Agent 1, 2, discharge. So Agent 1, discharge. Agent 2, discharge. Now it's normal not to see that discharge light there for about 3 or 4 seconds. That's proper. That means the bottle is being released. Engine master 2 off. Now before I do this, what's going to happen? It means that we're going to be going to battery power only. So hopefully you would be already talking to the trucks, telling them, hey, we're on fire. You need to help it. Engine 2 master off. ATC VHF 1 notify, because we're going to, guess what? Guess we'll be on battery, and guess what works with on battery power? VHF 1. But now we don't have an ECAM. So this is why we have a paper checklist for the evacuation procedure, which I should have had out. Give me 1 second. We have a paper checklist evac for this very reason. So aircraft parking brake, stop on, confirm. Crew PA, we already did that. ATC's been notified. Differential pressure, it's already been taken care of. Engine masters, 1, 2 are off. Fire push buttons, push. Discharge if necessary. Evacuation is required. Initiate evacuation. So let's go ahead and go. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate from down here. And then we would immediately silence the horn in the flight deck. So the horn is silenced. And we're burning, and we're still burning, which is interesting.
Has a huge price tag. That Toliss failure menu is realistic. This plane even simulates sim failure.
The C2A, it even simulates a sim failure, indeed. Thank you, C2A, for the $3 bank angle check right back at you, man. But that $5 super chat from Caleb, you definitely saved our parking brake. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Sorry that I was... I forgot about that. It was just that Toliss, or just the reset. But indeed, so we've completed that. The evac is complete, and we've discharged it, but we're obviously still burning. You can see we're on bat light up here. And now let's go ahead and we would get out of the aircraft, indeed. So I don't have it in auto. If I had the doors in auto, these doors would have automatically opened up as well. So, was that enough for you guys? Did you guys enjoy that? Let's take a look at the replay. I'm going to put my engine masters on. I'm going to release the parking brake. Let's see if we can do a replay without breaking everything here. So let's go ahead and back it all up. Probably wouldn't want the leftover wing open. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want those open. But, you know, people, well, hopefully the fire is out. You know, hopefully the fire is out at that point. But you don't know. I mean, people are going to do what people do. I'm going to put this back into regular mode here so you can see. Is there a procedure if the rat fails to deploy? Pray, my friend. 'Cause I'm trying to letting it do its thing here as we roll back. I'm hoping we can get some fires out there. Go run. Oh, that's not the right runway view. Come on now, explain. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can do like trigger a failure in replay. Boom, set her down and get out of there. Did we have spoilers 1 through 5? I don't remember. Unbeatable fuel efficiency as raging fire burns. I know. Ironic, huh? Look at that. See, spoilers 1 and 5 did not deploy. That's pretty cool. We're idle reverse. No reverse on number 1. Awesome. You can see me braking hard, trying to maintain center line. It's pretty amazing, like when you're in manual brakes or in this alternate brake mode and you're really trying to stop, how it can be difficult to control center line, no doubt. But that's pretty cool.
20.
I wish we had the fire on the replay. Normally it works. You know, Listerman, you say that, but I had it before the stream. I did a practice, and it worked in the replay. So, but there you go. Our gear doors are down. That's all correct. Pretty sweet. Coming down. Just set her down. I'm not worried about anything else, because at that point you're on fire. You've got all kinds of issues. If you go around, you might not be able to land again. Steven says, excellent. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to head to the store to pick up some shorts. All right. Here we go. Steven, I agree, man. If I was in that scenario in real life, you would indeed be picking up some new shorts. So let's end the replay, and now we're going to do our last save scenario. So engine modes to start. We're going to do some high temp RTOs here.
Just wanted to let you know that you caused quite a number of accidents on Lincoln Boulevard, Colorado Boulevard, and even the 405 freeway with folks watching stunned as a plane on fire was coming into LAX, lol.
Kelly Simmer, thank you for the $5 bank angle check, man. Indeed. I probably did. That's probably very accurate, man. They would all be watching the fire airplane come in over those highways, and it would probably cause a 10-car plus pileup, man. No doubt about it. Thank you, Kelly Simmer. Appreciate you, man. NTSB has their work cut out for the next few years. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Does a tray table work? Yeah. It wouldn't be an Airbus without a tray table, man. No, there you go. Look at that. Boom. Love it. All right, so look at that. We're right back to where we were in Las Vegas. But we're gonna do some high temperature RTOs, and we're gonna take a look at the brake temp simulation. So I'm gonna say the time is about 11:30 local.
If I were in a plane with you and both engines failed, I would still feel safe. Thank you for the amazing streams.
Randy,
Captain.
thank you. Thank you so much for that $3 bank angle check, and I appreciate that. There is a stream I want to do. I want to do a NEO, maybe over water stream, if not maybe a long haul, and I want to discuss a dual engine failure and what the worst thing you can do is. A lot of people get that wrong, and it's has to do with APU and electrical and glide speeds and engine relights in flight. But it's funny you bring that up, because I was talking about the dual engine failure is something that we need to do at length, but I just don't have time for it right now. But thank you so much, man, for that $3 bank angle check, man. You the man. All right, let's look at temperature C. I'm going to do manual weather. We're going to say it's summertime. Winds are fine here, but let's say the temperature is, I need it in the freedom units here so I could just get an idea. I've seen Vegas up there like 120 C, about 38. I've seen 41 on the ground there. Let's do 41 C, 126. Done. Apply those changes. Okay, super hot summer day here. I want to increase our weight.
The good news for Carly Simmer. There were about 30 different people out on the patio of the In-N-Out recording vertical video.
C2A, indeed. Yes. 30 different people on the In-N-Out. Hey, somebody still needs to give me a double-double with animal fries out there at that In-N-Out. Look at that a little bit. 20,000 pounds of gas. Our gross weight is 143,000 pounds. That's not right. 141 and 20 should be 163, right? Something got messed up down here. We should be 141 and 20. We should be 161. Oh, let's do 163. Out of range. Something, I must have messed something up. Anyway, we're still pretty heavy. All right. Hot and heavy RTOs. High temp, high outside temp. We're going to practice an RTO here. So what would be a cause for an RTO? Let's add something. Let's add a new fault. Let's say we get a... I don't want to do an engine because I want both forward thrusts there. Aileron jam. I was hoping there'd be a side stick fault indicating... I guess what we can do an engine fire. Let's just do it fire. That's fire protection. I was looking for the side stick fault. Okay, I don't see that one in there. That would be, because that's just a good training one. All right, we'll just do an engine fire because it will still be producing thrust. So we'll do an engine fire. What is our V speeds here? We're going to need to recalculate them because we changed our weight. So let's go here. Let's see if we get a new set of speeds. Receive data, no flex. That's about the same. 34, 34, 39. So if our V1 is at 134, it would be higher than that. Let's just say it's 144 because I'm messing with the speeds now. 144, 149, and 153. So let's get a fire at indicated airspeed of 130 knots. Got to give ourselves some reaction time. 130. All right. Let's do this. Engine fire with damage. It's not simulated, I wish. Brakes released. Now, we need to arm you. Oh. Why aren't you arming? Alright, well, it'll redo it anyway. We'll do worst case scenario. You forgot to arm them. Here we go. Spool them up 50. Oh, wait, stand by, stand by. Auto brakes, max is selected. Alright, good. Oh, I gotta brighten up these screens. What's our temps? Wheel temps are 200 degrees, which is probably about accurate if you're in Vegas and you just taxied to the runway and it's 40-something C. Here we go. Toga takeoff, man Toga, SRS, auto thrust blue. Look at the delay and acceleration. $80 knots, thrust set. 100 knots, check. Reject, I have control. Jeez. Maintain center line. Reverse down to a stop. Set the park brake. Clear the caution, flight attendant stations. And then we would deal with the fire right now. I'm not going to extinguish it because I want to watch replay. Oh, look at that. Look at those temps. 580 and climbing. 590 and climbing. 610 and climbing. You're going to blow all your fuse plugs on this one. Oh, yeah, you're right. I was looking at the PSI. What were they before? Like 50? They're about 50 degrees. They would have probably been about 200 degrees. So I think they were like, what, low 50s, 60s on the temperature or on the pressure? Or I'm sorry, on the temperature. In real life, you probably would have even been hotter. If you're taxiing out in Vegas in the summertime, you're probably close to that 200 degree mark even before you take off. You might even be at like 250. So you RTO, that is some serious temperature climbing, and that's accurate. That's crazy. 740. Let's judge how we did on the actual RTO. Let's take a look at that. Let's replay that. Let's zoom it back. Let's see how we did on our actual RTO on this one. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we go. All right, play it. So here we are. You're in your nice little Neo. You're enjoying your takeoff. Dee-dee-dee. Now, this would be so violent in real life. Tom, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. It means that is the hottest wheel indicating on the on that page. Oh my gosh. There it is. Max auto brakes. Look at that. Thank you, Tom. Oh, that was sweet. Wrong side sim. Thank you so much, man, for that $10 bank angle check. Dude, I'm gonna hit you up, man, for sure. It'll consume reverse bank angle checks. I'll hit you up if I need that. I'm off now for about a week, so I don't think I'll be in and out. I don't want to be in Florida. I know it's been absolutely crazy, but I could have used y'all like 2 days ago for sure. But thank you for stopping by, man. Appreciate the support. Thank you, man. Enjoy your time there at the OCC, and I know you're going to be doing just an awesome job. So, but I got to get your number. Indeed, I do have to get your number. Don't let me forget, or we're going to have to exchange phone numbers here. Or at least I can text you. But thank you, sir. Appreciate the support. And Tom, yeah, I didn't mean to glaze over that, but that temp is the hottest wheel indicating. We'll have that orange amber line above it. All right, I want to try to time this RTO like in a flyby cam, because that's going to be sweet. Max Toga. Did you see that nose dip when it hit the max brakes? There's the fire. Reject. Look at that nose wheel compress. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Look, we got all of our spoilers up now. So look, spoilers 1 and 5 are operating, unlike when we did that other one where we had the wrong, or we had the hydraulics out. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. Was there anything else we wanted to check? I think we beat this airplane up pretty good. It's almost 2 o'clock. Yeah, I got to get back. I got to get packing. I got to get ready to get out of here because I got to do some stuff for real life. So, with that said, wrong side. Awesome, man. I'll hit you up. I'll send you a text, wrong side. Appreciate you, dude. Neil says landing gear dynamics in the sim are second to none. I couldn't agree more with you, man. And I don't know if it's the sim or if it's just Toliss in general. Their brake temperature simulation has been on point for a long time. It's probably one of the better ones out there, no doubt about it. So I'm going to reset my camera here so we could see it happen right on the line. I'm going to let you guys watch a replay. And then I have to get out of here, like I said. I got a 2 a.m. date with Highway, what am I taking, 85? I don't even know. Out to Atlanta, Georgia tomorrow. Hopefully, if you guys are around, like my members, if you're a member, maybe pop in the Discord chat. I might be in there live because I'll be bored and driving. So maybe just hang out in there. We can chat and talk. So just poke around for that if you want to. Guys, the last thing I want to say here about the Toliss 320, this is the last time I'll be able to fly it before it releases, most likely. I think this is a great airplane. I think Toliss did a fantastic job. If your X-Plane 12 is your sim, I do not think you'll be disappointed with this product at all. And you know Toliss stands behind their products every time they release one. So I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm going to use this airplane a lot for training scenarios. I think it is second to none. And when it comes to training, oh, watch this. Oh, that's cool. Come on. There's the fire. Look at that nose. Oh, my gosh. That was cool. All right, I'm going to back it up. I got to pause it. Sorry. I'm going to do it right here. That'll be the last one. But I think you guys will enjoy this airplane, like I said. I do. Toliss have worked extremely hard on getting this airplane in the condition that it is. And it's absolutely awesome. So until next time, guys, probably next week. Yeah, probably next week sometime. Niels, thank you so much for the 50 dono. Appreciate you. Day one purchase indeed, Niels. You won't be disappointed, my friend. Everyone say thank you to the engineer. Look at that. Look at that nose strut, guys. Look at that. Look at that nose strut all the way down. All the way down. So cool. Do behind the wing view. Somebody wanted that. But all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Toliss. Until next time, friends, stay safe, stay healthy. I already see the Sias in chat. I'm V1. See you.